Chris.
Yes, the meeting is now being recorded and live streamed.
Okay, with that, I will call the meeting to order. Jim or Lori, you want to do roll call?
Yep. I'll just go through my organization. If you can indicate if you are the voting member, if you're here. The Central New York Regional Planning and Development Board,
Yes.
CMYRTA. Here. City of Syracuse Administration.
Here.
City of Syracuse Division of Planning. City
I'll
of
take
Syracuse.
that one.
No, actually, you're probably going to take City of Syracuse DPW.
Perfect. I'll take that one better.
Empire State Development. Center State CEO.
Here.
New York State DEC. I don't believe anyone's on. Unless they missed them. Okay. New York State DOT.
Yeah.
New York State Thruway Authority. I think I saw them just join.
Here.
Onondaga County DOT.
Yeah.
Onondaga County Legislature. I don't believe we have any rep from them now. And SACPA, our chair.
Hello. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to, does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda?
None have come my way.
Okay, somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 19th.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Dave. Can I get someone to second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, moved. All right, I'll pass it over to Jim for communications and reports.
Yep, UPWP status report. Bear with me, I only have one hand on turn papers, so I go a little slower. Under general administration, we began the process of planning for the next program year, which means we sent a call letter out for projects to all of our member agencies in the towns and villages. Everyone on this call should have gotten both an email and a paper copy requesting ideas for planning projects for next year. There is a meeting next week to go over with us if you have a desire to do so, to talk about how to best word that project so that it can make its way into our program. We will have significant room in next year's program, so if you have an idea, I strongly encourage you to put it forward. We should be able to fit several new projects onto our program next year, so don't be shy in asking for stuff. I won't be shy in saying no if we can't do it, but we're going to try real hard to do everything that comes in like we always do. We also have an upcoming required federal certification with federal transit and federal highway. This will require some of you folks to attend a virtual session to be required during a 3-day period of November 30th through December 1st. It's going to be different topics at different times during those 3-day periods. As soon as I get a detailed agenda, I will reach out to each of you who need to be in on that agenda item piece and let you know what day and time to participate. It'll be virtual meeting. I'm not sure if it's going to be Zoom or if the feds are going to use their own. They tend to use Teams if they organize. Additionally, outside of that 3-day certification process, there's several meetings that are going to happen in January related to this. One is going to be a meeting with our policy chair individually, and then our planning chair individually, with no one else attending other than those chairpersons' staff if they would like them to. And then additionally, there'll be a meeting another day somewhere between January 10th and 13th. It's going to be a free-for-all invitation to all of our planning and policy committee members to attend like this with the feds to answer any questions that they may have for everybody in mass. And I'll get that invitation out probably next week for the January meeting for everybody else. And then there'll be one stakeholder meeting during that January period. This is all required process by federal highway and federal transit to keep the federal certification in line, which keeps our funding stream flowing. So to let everyone know. Normally we do all this in person. It's going to be a bit more clunky doing this kind of stuff remotely, but we'll get through it. Under public participation, we held a forum on active transportation, which had public and stakeholders on September 29th. It was a very successful meeting. SACPA was our guest speaker this time, talking about their new planning plan that they're in the middle of launching. Their on plan, if I got the name right. You're muted, Megan. You said something, but I didn't hear.
Plan on Onondaga.
Plan on Onondaga, so
Twitter and Instagram.
all right, sorry. I didn't want to misrepresent it.
Yeah, and a lot of you will be invited to our upcoming focus group meeting on mobility. If you haven't already got an invite, you might be getting one in the next few days.
We also sent out a recent e-newsletter and we will be having some public involvement opportunities related to the LRTP and the TIP amendments for I-81 coming up as well. Under federal transportation legislation, I'm sure if you pay any attention to the news, you've noticed that there is no new infrastructure bill in Washington, or the highway bill is on a temporary 30-day extension, which is good for the extension. Hopefully they'll get a new bill in place. I'll keep you all posted as something happens there, because if any of the talked about bills make it through, we expect to see significant increase in both our planning and capital funding for the MPO, which is good all around. Under data collection, we're trying to do some last minute traffic counts during October and early November before the snow flies, not because we were waiting for school to become in session, because last year we really couldn't do traffic counts because it was kind of a non-representative year, shall we say, for counting cars. But this seems to be a more representative year now, so we're trying to get some counts in before the snow flies this year. Under GIS, we developed some interactive maps, including a story map of recent studies, as well as some environmental assessment tools. That's later on the agenda. Jason DeShays will show you what we have developed for that. That's available on our website. Under bridge and pavement, pavement ratings were complete for the season, and that is being compiled. Will be presented at an upcoming planning and policy committee meeting. For I-81, the draft EIS has been released, as you know, and public comment is closing in the near future. SMTC staff is going to be submitting comments on behalf of the staff of the MPO. I encourage all member agencies to submit their own comments to New York State DOT as well. Related to that, we are required to do a long-range transportation plan amendment, followed by a TIP amendment. Those will probably occur in January, and those will be required to happen before New York State DOT will be able to access any capital funding for that project. So the way it's according, if everything goes on schedule now, in January there'll be a planning committee, and then followed a couple weeks later by a policy committee meeting where we'll be asked to adopt an amendment to our long-range transportation plan that rolls into it the 81 project. And then at that same meeting after that, we'll ask for phase 1 funding for the I-81 project to be added to the TIP. That's assuming everything goes on schedule the way it's laid out right now. And you know, nothing on this project has gone completely on schedule, so things could change a lot between now and then. Those meetings, unlike this one, will be held in person because we're talking about a $2 billion project, and I don't think we should go for $2 billion over a Zoom call. So we'll get together, we'll do that in person. We will not invite the public to that meeting. We will live stream it for the public to be able to sit in and to watch from home, but we'll all be in the same room to vote on that stuff. And we'll be broadcasting with the device. Under regional planning initiatives, we're wrapping up work on the Empire State Trail Local Comprehensive Plan for SACPA, and additionally, we finished Onondaga County base map. We're waiting for a county DOT to tell us that they like it, so that we can then have it professionally printed, folded, and a few copies laminated. Dean, you don't have any authority to sign off on that today, do you? No. All right. Maybe you can poke, if you could poke Marty for me and tell him I'm still waiting on him to say if it's okay or not.
Yep, I'll bring it up to him.
Thank you. Long-range transportation plan. We held a SAC meeting this week to talk about the contents of the amendment for the long-range transportation plan. We had no objections to our approach. That looks like it's on target to go exactly where we need it to. For rail, truck, and transit, the required coordinated plan is being updated. Yesterday, we had a call Federal Highway talking about freight. They're doing their every 3 or 4 years. They come and talk to us about if our freight situation and freight movement and goods movement in our area is adequate. We believe it is, but as such, please, if you have any freight issues, or you hear of any freight movement issues in our community, please bring them to our attention so that we can make sure that they are studied and addressed accordingly and prioritized. It is a high priority area for the Federal Highway as well as for local community in general. For the joint TMC co-location, staff is continuing this effort to document a white paper to be adopted this year. Under the DOME traffic management plan, SMTC and our consultant Stantec have held numerous small group meetings with Syracuse University stakeholders. The consultant provided us with an existing conditions report, which we're reviewing. And the consultant will be attending an actual home game of SU to kind of observe traffic and parking patterns, I assume, and not to watch the game. But they're going to bring a large number of their staff to observe the current conditions of how the people are currently accessing it and where they park right now before the roads start to change. They have a lot of data that kind of shows that, but they wanted to lay their eyes on it on an actual game. And Megan, do you remember the date of that? I know it's October, I just don't remember the date.
It's next Friday. It's October 15th. We'll also be doing, our traffic count consultant will be doing some turning movement counts that night as well. And if you don't mind, I'll put into the chat the link to the survey that we have out for the public to answer about your experience traveling to and from the Dome. So if people on the call wouldn't mind filling out that survey at some point, and please pass it around.
Thank you. Update on some of our smaller corridor studies. The Tuscarora Road corridor study, we drafted a presentation that we posted on YouTube for people to watch. Then we're going to hold a virtual workshop to get feedback from the public on that. The Route 11 corridor study in Mattydale, that study is making considerable progress and is on target to be wrapped up probably by the end of the program year or shortly thereafter. The Manlius Village pedestrian study is on track for completion this program year. Village of Skinny Atlas pedestrian study, there's a draft presentation, again, going to go live on our YouTube page, followed up by a virtual meeting for a Q&A with the public. For the Syracuse sidewalk planning study, we have completed our work this year in having folks go out and rate conditions for all the city sidewalks. The city has requested that we do that again next year. So I see no reason why that won't be part of our program again next year. We'll have several interns in the field with their iPads, literally walking the streets of the city of Syracuse, rating the quality of the sidewalks where they are, so that to help the city's sidewalk program that they're launching. And lastly, for TIP development and maintenance, we started a new fiscal year this month. And to that end, New York State DOT immediately wasted no time with the TIP amendments for the new program year. And that's why we're having this meeting today. There's 2 TIP amendments on the schedule for today for New York State DOT. Additionally, we closed out last program year, and to my knowledge, it looks like we obligated all of the money that we had, which meant that we didn't leave any money on the table that would be, quote, unspent for the program year. We're going to create some reports to kind of document the outcome of that we'll share with our executive committee and capital projects committee next time they all meet. But that's good news. That I always hate it when money goes unspent. It looks like we didn't. Looks like we got a 100% obligation rate this year, so that's excellent. So that's the project update. If it's something you want to know more about, please ask.
So Jim, for the joint TMC co-location, what exactly was it that you wanted Marty to take a look at? Was it the
Oh no, wrong project. I need Marty to take a look at the Onondaga County DOT base map that we put together.
Oh, the base map, Yep. Okay.
Yeah, he requested that we redo a county map, the physical map and hard copy that you guys have. We'll have both folded ones and laminated ones for you guys. And we redid it this year again, and we just want to make. And we sent it for his review. I think he's waiting for someone in the county executive's office to say, yeah, this is okay.
Yep.
But it's kind of been waiting for a while now. So if you could just remind everybody that we kind of need to do this, because I need to spend that money this year for that printing. I don't want to have that roll in the next program year.
No, makes sense. Yep, I'll bring it up today.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Is the TIP amendment for I-81, is that contingent upon the new infrastructure bill passing or not?
I'll leave Mark Frechette answer that one.
Yeah, Mary, I would say, in short, yes. We need the new federal transportation bill for not only that project, but for every project that we have on the TIP. And as you know, in the past, we've had delays in lettings and delays in other things reflective of not having a federal transportation bill. So hopefully they are going to pass more than just a extension, and they'll have a good 5-6 year transportation bill. But for the magnitude of money we're talking about at 1.9 billion, we certainly need the federal transportation bill.
Okay, thanks. That's what I was assuming, but thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Next update is the I-81 Viaduct project update from New York State DOT, which we do at our planning and policy committee meetings.
All righty, thanks, Jim. I guess I'd start by just saying that DOT is pretty pleased with the public engagement we've had with the community over the last 3 months. We had released the draft design report, draft environmental impact statement in July of this year, and it's been a good 2.5 months of engagement, and that engagement continues. Jim had mentioned that the comment period is coming to an end. That is a week from today, October 14th. Please make sure that you get that in the mail before, at least by close of business, October 14th. So we had held 2 virtual hearings in August and 2 in-person hearings at the On Center in August. We did follow that up with 9 neighborhood meetings and neighborhood/community meetings. The real change to the document from 2019, we had 5 significant changes to the document from a scope perspective. That included a business loop 81 southbound to 81 northbound connection down by Loretto. That was based on comments we got from the community. We did add a new northbound on business loop 81 off ramp at Colvin Street. We had added a roundabout at MLK to next to the Dr. King Elementary School to transition high-speed vehicles northbound into the grid. That's been a very controversial issue in the community. DOT is listening to what the community has to say about that. And we're looking at some other solutions there to implement related to the proximity of the roundabout to the school. We did move the northbound business loop on and off ramps from Court Street to Bear Street. We believe that this will have better connectivity to the Northeast residents with the Inner Harbor and Destiny. And then finally, we added quite a bit of work to exit 3, really the interface between the existing Interstate 41 with the routes 5 and 92 to address some of the growth that we've had on the 5 and 92 corridor and fix some of the congestion and safety problems. Was surprised that the magnitude of individuals that advocated for extending the comment period. And there was many in the community that asked for that. So we did extend it from September 14th to October 14th. But I would say to this group that Central New York and the community here does not hesitate to provide us comments. We've received well over 3,000 comments, and that was a number from 2 weeks ago. And I can tell you that just based on what's come in yesterday, there's a lot of stuff coming in. I think people are seeing that October 14th date, and they want to have comments. We want people to comment. So I think that really has helped to guide the vision of the project. It's also helped to improve on the alternatives prior to us getting to construction. So just in comparison, in 2019, we got about 1,200 comments. So we're going to be well more than 3 times what we got in 2019. And we had just as robust public engagement as we did this year. What are we hearing? Roundabout was very controversial. That's something that's being taken into consideration. Sky Bridge, people have talked about the Sky Bridge. We're going to take a look at that. Jobs has continued to be a big, everybody in the community want local jobs as a result of this. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. We're working with the city on their Syracuse Build initiative, but we're also working with a lot of the job advocacy groups like Urban Jobs Task Force, our federal partners, to establish the local hiring goals as a part of the project. That's something that we haven't been able to do in the past, and will be kind of new to 8081 if we can get approval through our federal partners. What comes next? Once we have, well, let me just say that every comment that we receive needs to be responded to. And we will work on that once we close the comment period. We've already started working on that, but we don't have all the comments at this point in time. We will have to go through, the process includes a federal legal sufficiency review, which we will need to go through this winter. That will roll into whatever engineering changes we do, any new environmental analysis that we do needs to be incorporated into the what's called the FEIS, the final environmental impact statement. The public will have a shot at that document. There's a 30-day review process for the public to be able to respond to that. Ultimately, that rolls up into what's called the record of decision, which is a major milestone for the project. It's the final decision on the project. We continue to make changes today. So the input that the public has been beneficial. And I think the engagement's been significant. So it's not until we get to the record of decision that we can actually make offers to real estate to actually purchase property. That coupled with putting contractors on board to do the construction projects will all be things that we'll be working on in 2022. It's our intent that all of the contractors, and we're planning 5 contractors for phase 1, be under contract by the end of the year in 2022. So that by the time 2023 rolls around, all of them are actively working on construction. So that includes 3 projects downtown, and that includes 2 projects along the 481 corridor. So there's still a lot of work to do to get us to that stage. We're actively working on that every day, and looking forward to continued engagement with the community. I will say that even though we're closing the comment period October 14th, that does not mean that the public does not have input into the project as the project moves forward. There is a lot of engagement that occurs with the community during the construction phases on a lot of our projects. So just want to throw that in there, that people will be able to have input into the project. We do plan on opening up a outreach center at some point in time prior to construction. We were at the Carnegie until COVID hit, and kind of shut that down because of COVID. But it is our intent that prior to construction, there's going to be a place for people to be able to call, people to stop in, to have discussions with people within DOT. So that's kind of a snapshot where we are. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions for Mark? It's a first.
I was gonna ask. Sorry. Mark, there was a big story on CNY Central this morning. It says at 11 o'clock, there's a big announcement from NISDOT about I-81. Did we just hear it, or is?
Partially, Dave. So we are just making sure through the media that the public realizes that the comment period is closing October 14th. So a lot of what I just said to you is similar to what you'll hear on the news later today. We don't want people to miss the opportunity if they want to comment. And now that comment period's a week away. So that's really the message for today. And I'll field questions with the public or from the media, whatever they want to talk about.
Okay. And you also said that of the 3 things you were hearing, one of them was look at the Sky Bridge. Is there any engineering behind that proposal? Is there anything really to look at other than a picture?
We've gotten numerous comments about the Sky Bridge and some visuals that have been shared with the department. I can't honestly say, Dave, that I've read every 3,000, all the comments that we've received, but those are tasks that I need to do as we go forward. I guess I would answer that by kind of saying that every comment that we receive gets due diligence, and we will take a look into that. We're not done with the comment period at this point in time. So potentially we could receive something in the next week that has some engineering behind things. We'll see what happens over the next week.
Thank you. Megan? You're muted, Megan.
Sorry. Thank you, Mark. Moving on, old business, there is none. So let's move on to new business. I'll turn it over to Jim again.
Yep, safety performance targets. Mario, can you throw that screenshot up? As required by the FAST Act, the SMTC has the option to either adopt the performance measures established by the New York State or develop its own. Traditionally, we've been adopting the ones by New York State because it's infinitely easier. The state adopted 2022 safety targets in August of 2021 for the following measures: number of fatalities, rates of fatalities, number of injuries, serious injuries, rates of serious injuries, and the number of non-motorized fatalities and non-motorized serious injuries. So we are proposing that the SMTC adopt these state targets rather than developing our own. That's what every other MPO in the state has done. That's what we've been doing right along. They're outlined on the screenshot in front of you, and we're on the paper of the resolution that went out in the mail. So looking to send this to the policy committee for their adoption, if you all concur.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I ask for a motion from someone that we recommend the planning committee adopt the 2022 safety performance measure targets?
So moved.
Thank you, Neil. Can I get a second? Brian,
second.
thank you. All
right.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Was that a opposed, Mary?
No, that was a 4.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. All right, motion passed. Moving on to tip amendments.
Okay, we have 2 tip amendments before us today. The first is an I-81 project, but not the I-81 project we're talking about. This is from New York State DOT proposing I-81 over Oneida River in the Barge Canal bridge rehabilitation, adding $12.8 million to the tip to address fascia girder deterioration, offsets provided by the Onondaga Lake Parkway project, and state dedicated funds. The second project is New York State DOT who awarded $125,000 from Federal Highway Administration for the sharing transportation industry career pathways. I'm just going to assume that this is laying the groundwork for what Mark was talking about bringing our workforce up to speed for employment in the for the I-81 and other construction projects. If not, please correct me. But I'm assuming that this is part of that process.
That's true, Jim.
Okay. I do want to point out that the first tip amendment, the I-81 over Oneida River project, well, the offset is being provided by the Onondaga Lake Parkway project for the scoping and preliminary design. The other phases are being listed as SDF, and those are substantial. You're talking well over $10 million. And I assume the assumption from the state is that that $10 million will then transfer from SDF to NHPP funding as part of our next tip update. So I was to make sure everyone's clear that by approving this project, you're also approving that when we do the tip update, probably in 6 months or so, that we're taking $10 million out of NHPP and allocating it to this project at that point in time. I assume that's the state's intent. Is that correct, Dave?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So make sure everyone realizes that by approving this, you're also approving that fact as well. So I need a motion on the
Okay,
or questions.
any questions? Okay, can I get a motion to send these tip amendments on to policy committee?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Dave. Second? Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or any opposed? Okay, sounds good.
All
All
right.
right, thank you. On to SMTC portfolio story map.
Yeah, this is just an informational item. I thought we've been asked by Federal Highway to kind of continue to enhance our website. We also, as our tools get better and our skills get better, we wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of the things that we have out there available to our member agencies and the general public. So Jason Deshays put together a very brief, under 5-minute presentation just to show you what's available on our website as it relates to our work products portfolio, environmental justice mapping and environmental considerations mapping and ITS. Murray, you want to play that presentation real quick? It's 5 minutes, and then y'all can get on with your day.
Hello, this is Jason Deshays, Senior Transportation Analyst with the SMTC. Today, I would like to introduce you to 4 new interactive web mapping applications. These applications are accessible from our website. Go to smtcmpo.org and in the navigation bar, choose Data and Interactive Maps, or scroll to the bottom of the page and select the Interactive Maps icon. This page highlights all of the interactive maps and apps we have published for public use. Today, I will be showing the most recent additions. First, I would like to show you the SMTC Work Products Portfolio Story Map. If you are not familiar, story maps are a combination of maps, and narrative text, images, and other content. This story map is based on our Work Products Portfolio document that you may be familiar with, which is available for download on our website. The portfolio contains an overview of some of the UPWP projects that the agency has completed since 2007. After a brief introduction, you'll start navigating through each of the 5 project type sections as listed in the top navigation bar. Each section includes an introduction, a general project location map, and descriptions for each of the projects. As an example, let's go to the Corridors Study section, then find the Clay 3 Rivers Access Study from 2011. Click on the project description to expand the description to reveal more information as well as document download link. As you scroll down through all the other projects in that section, the map will zoom to that project study area. Finally, the last section of the story map contains additional resources, including links to download our static map products, such as the Central System Map and Onondaga County Highway Map, as well as a link to download the PDF version of the portfolio as previously mentioned. Next, I would like to introduce you to the SMTC Project Locations and Environmental Considerations Map. This map was developed based on a suggestion from FHWA. The map is intended to allow the user to do further environmental analysis for a project study area. When you first open this map, you'll get a disclaimer and additional information box, which includes links to various DEC resources, including their environmental assessment form mapper. By default, all available SMTC project study areas are displayed. Go to the interactive legend on the right side of the map to turn on and off study areas of your choice. Again, let's use the Clay Three Rivers Access Study as an example. Select it from the legend and choose Zoom to. Open the layers list on the left side to access the environmental layers. From here, you can turn on and off any of the included layers. There are many layers to choose from, including flood hazard areas, wetlands, and soils. Click on the map for information about each active layer. In this case, soil types. Next, let's take a quick look at the Intelligent Transportation System, or ITS, devices map. This is a basic interactive map that includes the location of traffic signals, traffic cameras, and variable message signs within our planning area. You can toggle between individual device types using the interactive legend on the right. The number you see in this legend represents the total number of that device type. For instance, there's 663 three-color signals in our planning area. Finally, let's review the Environmental Justice Mapper. As noted in the pop-up window, the data shown in this application is from the 2020 census as well as the 5-year American Community Surveys. The purpose of this map is to identify environmental justice areas and to show selected demographic variables for the population of our planning area. As an example, you may want to explore environmental justice areas as well as median household income by tract. Or you may want to look at percentage of zero vehicle households. Use the info button in the top left corner for more information about the map and the included layers. That is all I have time for today. I encourage you to check out our growing list of interactive maps, and we welcome any feedback you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Again, the purpose of this is just to show you folks tools that are freely available to all of our member agencies and the general public as you move forward, just to make sure that this stuff is fully transparent and that everything is available to everybody. Any questions on that material that was shown?
Yeah, I just want to say great job to Jason and everybody. I think these are super easy to navigate and easy to understand. And I know they take a lot of work to put together. Yeah, and you beat us to the story map game. We're working on story maps for our county plan as well. Thanks, Jason.
Our goal is to only beat you to the punch, Megan. You know that's our goal.
That's all right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. That's the formal agenda we have for today. But since we're all gathered together, anyone have any other questions or any other topics you want to talk about before we call it?
Oh, just Jim, I just wanted to thank SMTC for setting up this meeting. It was mainly at our request to get those tip amendments passed. So thanks to you and everyone who showed up to help us out to get those projects on this tip. Yep.
Absolutely. All right.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. This meeting will be posted on our website right after.